Guest speaker number 2 tonight is Francisco Salazar. Francisco is on the humorous speech pathway. Is that correct? All right.
Yes.
The title of Francisco's speech is A Funny Thing That Happened on the Way to Change My Life. And the time frame for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. All right, Francisco Salazar.
Thank you. On May 2015, my wife says to me, "It's over. We're done." "What do you mean it's over?" "Wait, I get to keep the PlayStation, right?" Toastmasters, guests, life is funny sometimes. Your role can change in an instant. My ex-wife, she took the kids. I took the PlayStation. But it changed my world. It changed the way I thought. I was deeply depressed, but during that time I tried to fill the void with what I thought would make me happy. One thing that I was always told that I had mental issues, so I decided to check myself into the mental institution. Well, they didn't have time for me. They didn't have room for me. They said, "Come back in a month. We'll see what we can do." Like, a month? I don't have a month. I'm trying to change my life here. I go home. I call up a cousin and we decide, you know what, I'm gonna go spend time with my family in Harlingen. So they pick me up, we go over there, we're talking, we're having a good time. They decide to have a party and celebrate for one of my other cousins. They're drinking at I don't drink, but that's that time I'm thinking, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. I reached down for a beer, and my cousin's husband says like, "Frank, you're drinking?" My other cousin takes the beer away from me. "No, you're not gonna drink." I'm like, "Why not? I'm trying to drown my pain here. Come on, help me." "No, no, that's not a reason to be drinking." As she opens up the beer and chugs away. That's not a reason? All right. Okay. A few days later, I go back home. And I decide that's it. I'm going to cry out to God. I'm like, God, help me here. I need you. And I hear his voice. I hear, "Frank, go home." "I am home, God. I'm in my childhood bedroom. What do you mean go home?" "No, not that home. Go to church." When I was 17, I was attending a church and I had left when I was 21 because I went to go have fun and that didn't work out. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to go back to church. I put it in my mind. I'm going to get a ride. I'm going to get there. My brother drops me off. We get there. He says bye. We'll see you in a few hours. Takes off. I go to the door. Okay, this is it. I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna go talk to the pastor. I'm gonna see who I can talk to here. And I see a sign closed because it's Thursday. They don't have services on Thursday, but in my mind, I thought it was Wednesday the day before. I was like, "Closed? What do you mean closed? God, I'm trying to change my life." Like, just wait. A few minutes later, a truck pulls up, and a gentleman, says, "Hey, do you want to go to church? Or are you trying to get in?" Like, "Yeah, it's closed though." "Oh, don't worry about that. We have something going on today. We don't have service today, but we have a program for ex-cons. It might help you. Like, ex-cons, I'm not an ex-con yet. At this point, I was ready to do anything. I just wanted to, I needed guidance. Like, someone help me. So we go in. He introduced me to this tall man with gray hair. His name is Orlando Salinas, and he's the founder of the Choose to Change Foundation. He goes up to his podium, and he's talking about, do you want to change your life? I was a loser, a drug addict. He's telling his story. I'm like, okay, you know, I guess I'm a loser. I guess I'm in the right place. And he calls me out and says, hey, what's your name? Oh, my name's Frank. He's like, well, Frank, I'm going to use this illustration. I'm going to sit down this plank. You're going to walk the plank. Don't worry. It's not over any sharks or anything. It's just here on the floor. Would you walk it, back and forth, and I'll give you $10. I'm like, okay, $10. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'd walk that. Like, okay. Now we're going to take this plank and we're going to place it in the highest buildings. And like, wait, where's my $10? Well, it's just pretend. You're going to pretend. Okay, all right, fine. Now, would you walk from these high buildings over here on the other side? No money, though. Just would you walk? Would you walk it? And I said, yes. And he says, Frank, you're too crazy. Because apparently a sane man wouldn't walk over tall buildings just for the fun of it. I thought I'd give it a try. I thought maybe I'd get more money out of it. It didn't turn out. But then he explains to me, what if the other building was on fire? Well, there's a big fire and you imagine someone you love there. They're the reason for you to keep going. What would you do then? And at that moment, I'm thinking, my children. I'd go to save my children. And that's when he says, well, that's your purpose. That's why you keep going. That's why you do what you need to do to be a father, to be there for them. Ladies and gentlemen, if a crazy guy loves PlayStation, hears from God, if he can change his life, give it a try. Toastmasters.
First off, let me just say I loved your speech. It was great. I am very much someone who enjoys hearing humorous things, and I very much love a dark sense of humor, and I felt that was the embodiment of what you talked about tonight. I thought it was such a fascinating way to really understand part of your life as well, and you are a stranger to us, but it was fascinating to hear about your life in ways that could make you laugh and others laugh around you, even if it was serious content. I like that intro of May 2015 and then divorce. Oh, but can I get the PlayStation? That was
priorities.
Yes. For audience awareness, I don't know if you really paid attention, but your speech was up to 7 minutes. You made us laugh 7 times, so that was pretty much a laugh a minute. And in the middle, you had a very generous, loud laugh come from your audience as well. So audience awareness, a 5 right there. Comfort level, you looked very comfortable. I know in a virtual context, though, one thing I would recommend is possibly standing up so we can see a little bit more of you for your body language and maybe a little bit more of you as well, so that way we can see eye contact. And again, you're kind of looking at a camera or a screen, but seeing more of you, because when you give speeches, you're standing up in your club most likely, and so it'd be nice to see that reflected as well on that. Your vocal variety was great. We could tell when you were saying a funny story or an anecdote versus getting down to serious discussions, especially how you could fluctuate from humor to talking about drinking or things like that. It was a very, again, fascinating and very charismatic way to talk about those kind of things. I like too that you said I wanted to change my life consistently, because that kept bringing me back to the premise of what you're trying to tell us as well. Sometimes it can get lost in what you want to say, and sometimes people might stop paying attention for a second and come back to what what they're listening to, and that really helps redefine your storyline again. I thought it was great. Again, eye contact, I can't really tell with the virtual, but it looked really nice because I could see your face consistently. There's a couple of times you might have turned, but you pretty much kept looking straight up. Gestures, from what we could see, it looked really nice though. But really good speech, a couple of uses of ums and uhs, you knows, but other than that, I would love to hear that in person. So thank